special meeting for Bucyrus City Council for August the 6th, 2018 is called to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing for a moment, please. We'd like to have a moment of silence acknowledging the passing of Betty Gorsuch, a longtime teacher at Bucyrus High School and also a member of Bucyrus City Council from 1990 to 1993. May she rest in peace. Roll call, please.
McKeever.
Here.
Myers. Wireball. Truca.
Here.
Sack.
Here.
Vogt.
Here.
Schott.
Here.
Before you have the meetings from the July 17th, 2018 regular meetings. I need a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Ms. Sack to accept the minutes from July the 17th, 2018. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. You also have the minutes from a special meeting for July the 19th, 2018. I need a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Fogt, second by Mr. McKeever to accept the minutes from the special July the 19th, 2018 meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. And finally, we have minutes from the July the 26th, 2018 special meeting. I need a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fogt,
Yes.
second by Ms. Sack. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. To grant permission for visitors to speak, does anyone care to address council this evening? No one? We have no communications and petitions, okay. Standing committee reports. Mr. Fogt, would you like to get us started with that, please?
Yes, Bucyrus City Joint Regular Committees meetings, Thursday, July 19th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Members present were Mark McKeever, Kevin Myers, Dan Wireball, Bruce Truca, Monica Sack, myself, and Andrew Schott. First order of business was calling the meeting to order by myself at 6 p.m. Second up, we have public participation, which we had none. Started off order of committee business, and we started economic development at 6:01 p.m. Members in attendance were Monica Sack, Dan Wireball, Mark McKeever, and myself, Chair. Up, we have number one, we have community reinvestment areas. Hogemeyer Design Group proposed working with the city to come up with a new citywide community reinvestment area that would incorporate residential properties as well as commercial properties for a fee of up to $7,000. The residential CRA could be used as a vehicle to incentivize the rehabilitation of rental properties in the city. In addition, the city CRA needs to be updated to incorporate annexed areas. On June 7th, the committee voted to refer the matter to Finance Committee. County Auditor Joan Wolf explained how a residential CRA would work. While the city would monitor exterior home improvements via building permits, the County Auditor's Office would effectively enforce the CRA with periodic established real estate appraisals. She noted that routine home maintenance does not ordinarily increase the value of the property, and emphasized that the county's Board of Revision doesn't try to set the local real estate market, but reflect it. Wolf was asked to come up with guidelines on what would qualify as home improvement and what wouldn't. City Auditor Joyce Schiffer asked Law Director Rob Ratliff if funds in the budget's CRA monitoring fund could be used to cover the $7,000 fee to expand the city's CRA, and Ratliff said he would look into it. Vote recessed to Economic Development Committee at 6:27 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the minutes of the Economic Development Committee? None. Okay, moving on to Public Lands and Buildings, Mr. Truca. Since Mr. Wireball's not there? Then you didn't know that, did you?
Okay. Bucyrus Public Lands and Buildings Committee met July 19th at 6:27 p.m. Members are myself, Doug Fogt, Mark McKeever, and Dan Wireball, Chairman. Number one, swimming pool repair bid. On June 19th, council passed legislation appropriating $200,000 for swimming pool repairs via bond anticipation note. With no further discussion, vote made a motion to approve, authorizing the service safety director to advertise for bids and enter into a contract not to exceed $200,000 for the repairs, and send the matter to the finance committee. McKeever seconded the motion, which passed by voice vote. Number two, Lane Street easement for American Electric Power. Bucyrus area youth soccer is interested in facilitating the vacation of alleys between Clinton and Water Streets to enhance Harmon Park. This is in the vicinity of the old water plant, which is scheduled to be demolished. On July 5th, the committee was informed by the administration that American Electric Power would need to relocate several poles, with an easement required so the utility can place the poles on city property. Service Safety Director Jeff Wagner told the committee the soccer club has since reconfigured its drawings, and the easement for American Electric Power will not be necessary as the poles won't have to be moved. The matter was closed. Proposed vacation of various streets, alleys in the area remains an open project in the committee. Fireball recessed the Public Lands and Buildings Committee at 6:30 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the Public Lands and Buildings Committee meeting? None, thank you. Service Committee, Mr. Tricka.
Service Committee met Thursday, July 19th at 6:30 p.m. Members present were Dan Wireball, Doug Fote, Andrew Schock, and myself. Number one, amendment of airport improvement bid. Service Safety Director Jeff Wagner informed the committee that Resolution 206-2018 authorizing Crawford, Murphy and Tilley Incorporated to apply for a FAA grant, advertise for bids, and enter into a contract for airport repairs needs to be amended to take out, number one, replacing the rotating beacon, and section 1, crack sealing of the taxiways has turned out to be a larger job than anticipated. Vote made a motion to request legislation making the amendment, with a second by Schock. Motion passed by voice vote. Number two, water line expansion. Wagner expressed concerns about whether the city staffing levels will be adequate once the city takes over the county water and sewer district. Figures on how much revenue the county's sewer lines have brought in to the county after expenses have yet to be gathered. It was suggested that the city needs to move faster on getting expansion rolling. Law Director Rob Ratliff explained that new legislation will be needed to take over the county district. Resolution 216-2018 passed on March 20th only provided authorization for the city to enter into a representation agreement with the district for the assignment of legal rights. The committee was reminded that also to be determined is whether to match water rates outside city limits with those charged inside the city, and whether the codified ordinance 951.01, which requires mandatory acceptance of annexation in exchange for water service, should be amended. The Service and Finance Committees scheduled special meetings for Wednesday, August 1st at 6 p.m. to take up these items. Number three, bulk water hauling. On June 25th, local water haulers complained to the committee that it takes too long to fill their trucks with water at the new water plant's bulk water station. Wagner informed the committee that the changes since made to the station have cut hauling times by at least a third. Committee members noted the improvements, but suggested the 2-inch line be replaced with a 3-inch line. Wagner said the change will be made. Number four, solid waste rates. Auditor Joyce Schiffer reminded the committee that the solid waste fund is running in the red. The committee last took up the issue of raising rates on June 7th, when the matter was continued until the administration could obtain the number of residents who pay single and family rates and how many bags of trash are picked up on average. The issue will be addressed by the Service and Finance Committees at their special meeting on August 1st. Drew could recess the Service Committee at 6:49 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the Service Committee report? None. Moving on, Finance, Ms. Sack.
Finance Committee met on Thursday, July 19th at 6:49 PM. Members present were Dan Wireball, Kevin Myers, Andrew Schock, and myself. Number one, swimming pool repair bid. On June 19th, council passed legislation appropriating $200,000 for swimming pool repairs via a bond anticipation note. With no further discussion, Wireball made a motion to request legislation authorizing the service safety director to advertise for bids and enter into contract not to exceed $200,000 for the repairs, with a second by Myers. Motion passed by voice vote. Number two, the amendment of the airport improvement bid. Resolution 206-2018, authorizing Crawford Murphy and Tilly, Inc. to apply for an FAA grant, advertise for bids, and enter into a contract for airport repairs needs to be amended to take out number one, replacing the rotating beacon in section 1. Crack sealing of the taxiways has turned out to be a larger job than anticipated. Myers made a motion to approve the service committee's request for legislation, making the amendment, with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. 3, staff recess to finance committee at 6:50 PM.
Any questions or comments regarding the report? None. Would you like to finish this out, please?
Sure.
Zach?
Number 4, public participation, there was none. Number 5, staff asked for a motion to adjourn the joint regular committee. Motion by McKeever and second by Myers to adjourn at 6:50 PM. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. The service committee met in a special session on Wednesday, August 1st, 2018 at 6 PM. Mr. Truca, if you would get us started, please.
Okay, okay, the members present at this special meeting were myself, Monica Scott, Doug Phillip, Kevin Myers, and Andrew Schock. Pardon?
There's already a mistake, I was here too.
Okay, we'll wait until we get to, let's finish the minutes.
You're not on the committee though. So you're not on the.
Let's finish the minutes.
Okay, the Bucyrus City Council Service Committee was called to order by Truca at 6 PM. Public participation, there was none. Order of the committee business. Service Committee called to order at 6 PM. First item was Crawford County Sewer District. And, let's see, members for the Service Committee, Dan Wireball, Doug Fogue, and Josh and myself. And that's all right.
But yeah, it's in backwards.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, the Special Service Committee meeting was called by myself, the committee members, Dan Wireball, Doug Fogue, and Andy Schott, to discuss Crawford County Sewer District codified ordinances 951.01 and 915.02 and the solid waste rates. The meeting was called by myself at 6 PM. Okay, Crawford County Sewer District. Mayor Jeff Reeser reported that as negotiations continue with the county for transference of the district to the city has received permission from the county via a tentative verbal agreement to extend water service outside the city limits. Service Safety Director Jeff Wagner noted that at present, the city hasn't budgeted for costs associated with taking control of the district, but that as a part of the tentative deal will handle inspections and repairs for the district at the county expense, and then look at costs incurred in a year. Contingent on what those costs are, the city then formally assumed control of the district in 2020. Both the city and the county would have the ability to opt out of the agreement in a year for any reason. Wagner also reported that Lynn McKeever and Associates has begun survey work on the city's planned extension of water service to the vicinity of State Routes 19 and 100 and County Road 35, which will need approval from the Ohio EPA. Number 3, codified ordinance 951.01, utility service extensions and conditions. Law Director Rob Ratliff observed that the perception incorrectly exists in the community that property owners living outside the city limits would be subject to city annexation upon hooking up to city water. He suggested that council could modify the annexation ordinance by clarifying the language to make it clear that the ordinance does not apply to water service. The committee asked Law Director Ratliff to draw up some sample language amending the ordinance. Number 4, codify ordinance 915.02, water users outside the city limits. Wagner noted that if the city lowers the water rate for the customers outside the city to the rate paid by residents, it would cost the city about $90,000 a year. While the city would get much of that back by expanding water lines outside the city, it likely wouldn't get it all back. Some committee members contended that the same rate for everyone would make the city more competitive as a water provider, while others cautioned that the ratepayers in the city could be asked to pay higher rates if the expansion doesn't pan out. The administration is in the process of compiling figures on what water expansion would both cost and earn the city. The matter was continued. Solid waste rates. Auditor Joy Schiffer distributed information on how the solid waste fund, currently running a deficit, could be balanced by the year's end. It would entail reducing the revenue from the solid waste replacement fund of $1 for each monthly solid waste collection fee to 50 cents, as well as raising seniors/single rates by 35 cents a month and family rates by 85 cents a month for the last 4 months of 2018 and continuing thereafter. Personnel changes and a reduction in sanitation runs have already been implemented. Solid waste rates were last raised in 2004. Schieffer noted that the rate increases tied to inflation be instituted going forward, reducing the bag limit for seniors. That's not right, but it's not reducing the bag limit for the seniors and singles. But it was, okay. Schock made a motion to request legislation raising the solid waste rates per the auditor's suggestions for the remainder of 2018, with a second by vote. Motion passed by voice vote. Schock made a motion to request legislation cutting the solid waste replacement contribution from $1 to 50 cents for the remaining of 2018, with a second by vote. Motion passed by voice vote. I recessed the committee meeting at 17 p.m. And there has got to be a correction because it's not reducing the bag limit for the seniors and singles, it's reducing the bag limit, so it makes it more fair for the seniors and singles. You know, going from like 6 bags down to a lower bag limit to make it more palatable for the seniors that only put out 1 bag.
Okay, what is the change then you want to make with that sentence?
Oh, at that time, I just was saying that, you know, if there would be some sort of reduction in bag limit, then that's when you had told me that I should, you know, bring it up at a later date.
Okay. So do we want to change this one sentence here then?
Yes, please.
Reducing the bag limit for senior/singles was suggested. How about reducing the bag limit for users was suggested?
Correct, that would be fine.
Take that out, make it the word users. Okay. Any other questions or comments regarding the minutes? Okay, I need a motion then to amend this.
So,
Second?
Motion by Ms. Sack and second by Mr. Vogt to amend the minutes to say reducing the bag limit for users was suggested. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Okay, we've amended that one. Then, next page. The Finance Committee met in special session on Wednesday, August the 1st, 2018, at 6 p.m. Finance Committee Chairman, Ms. Sack?
Finance Committee met at 7:19 on Wednesday, August 1st. Members present were Kevin Myers, Andrew Schock, and myself as chair. Number 1, the Special Finance Committee meeting was called by Committee Chair Monica Sack and Committee members Dan Wireball, Kevin Myers, and Andrew Schock to discuss the Community Reinvestment Act appropriation and solid waste rates. The meeting was called to order by Sack at 7:19 p.m. Number 2, Community Reinvestment Act appropriation. Meyer Design Group has proposed working with the city to come up with a new citywide community reinvestment area that would incorporate residential properties as well as commercial properties for a fee up to $7,000. A residential CRA could be used as a vehicle to incentivize the rehabilitation of rental properties in the city. In addition, the city's CRA needs to be updated to incorporate annexed areas. Law Director Rob Ratliff suggested the fee could be taken out of the city's budget CRA monitoring fund. Chalk made a motion to request legislation making such an appropriation, with a second by Myers. Auditor Joyce Schiffer said the appropriation request will be included with other needed appropriations at the next full council meeting on Monday, August 6th. Number 3, solid waste rates. Myers made a motion to approve 2 legislation requests passed earlier by the Service Committee to raise solid waste rates for the remainder of the year per the auditor's suggestion, and to cut the solid waste replacement fund contribution from $1 to 50 cents for the remainder of the year per the auditor's suggestion. Chalk seconded the motion, which passed by voice vote. Number 4, SAC recessed the Finance Committee meeting at 7:23 p.m.
Okay, questions or comments regarding the special finance committee meeting? Yes, Auditor?
And number 2, at the end, where it says that I said the appropriation request to be included with other needed appropriations at the next full council meeting, that should be the next council committee meeting. Because I'll have that included with what we approve on Thursday.
Okay, I need a motion then to accept that change to the last sentence that'll be to the next council committee meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vogt, second by Mr. McKeever. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed, that's amended. Okay, moving on. Traffic Commission, we don't have anything from, and report regarding Traffic Commission. Any questions regarding traffic?
Did you want me to finish that out?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there is a front page to that. Go ahead.
Sorry. Number 4, public participation, there was none. 5, SAC asked for a motion to adjourn the joint regular committees. Motion by McKeever and second by Vogt to adjourn at 7:23 p.m. Motion passed.
Thank you. I got myself there. Okay, so any traffic questions for the mayor this evening? Mr. McKeever?
Yeah, I have a suggestion. I've been approached by a couple people about their observation of the Marion Road and South Sandusky interchange. They suggested the cheapest thing that you could do is put up a sign on the stop sign that cross traffic does not stop, because people have gone through that by their observation. Mostly out of towners who don't
Yeah,
know.
cross traffic. Yeah, on Marion Road sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they said that would be one of them said that would be the cheapest way to
So who's not stopping then?
Marion Road, going north.
Okay, and why would a cross traffic does not stop? help
Because
them
they're,
stop?
I'm just saying, that was a suggestion.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just relaying the suggestion.
Okay.
Point of First Federal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure, I want to make sure I was in the right spot too.
I'll bring it up, we can bring it up at the meeting. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? I guess I should comment that we've had it in town the last week or so, finishing all
Yes.
the holes and everything that they needed to, cement them, and
Sure.
on Whetstone Street, on Southern Avenue, on East Street, they finally caught up.
We have our approaches done here,
Yeah,
and that looks really nice too, so, yeah, I'm getting mine caught up. Well, you have to make hay while the sun shines.
that's
as the
right.
saying goes.
And the sun is shining.
Yes.
Okay, anything else? Okay, I need a motion to accept the committee minutes and related committee reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. Trucca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Report of city officers. Mr. Mayor, anything?
Nothing formal, just I appreciate you having a moment of silent prayer for Miss Betty Gorsuch. I don't know if some of us probably have her here. I was fortunate to have her for a teacher, and she taught me a lot, and gave me a love for politics and serving people. And she was quite a teacher. Now, I understand there's going to be some kind of a memorial service. I have not seen her obituary, either the Telegraph Forum or Crawford County now, but I'm sure, and a lot of former students would like to come pay their respects for her. So she was excellent teacher. We did tape last week the very first mayoral TV show. We call it Mayor's Roundtable. So it'll be a monthly show. First guests were Chief Kepke. We talk about what's going on in the city the following month. So the month of August is going to be National Night Out, Bratwurst Festival. We had Kevin Myers speaking, and for the school system, Kevin Killen. And Mr. Wagner was here for the wrap-up, talked about, mill and paving, what's going on there. So look for that on Access TV this week, and that should be also on our website by the end of the week too, and on YouTube. So keep your eye out for that. We're gonna make it a monthly. If you have any suggestions for future guests, let me know. National Night Out's tomorrow, I did mention that. Our own Jason Kay is hosting a party. Congratulations, Jason. Thank you for doing it. If you're getting out there, that's always a nice party with a lot of good food. So, and we appreciate all the people, all 18 so far that are having parties. And the very last thing I have is a referral. We did get a $125,000 state grant for our stage at the park. We also received a $25,000 grant for engineering study of the possibility of a bicentennial archway. And hoping, by the year 2021, we would be able to get funding to be able to do some kind of, we've been to the short north in Columbus, and many different, even smaller towns have arches. And it may be a nice tribute for a very, very important event that's coming up in about 3 years, and that's our bicentennial. So I was hoping to see if that was a possibility. So I need to refer that so the administration, to administer those funds by ORDC, the same people that are managing the other funds too. That would go to public lands and buildings, and then finance, I believe.
Okay. I need a motion then to place the use of ORDC to administer this $25,000 grant into public lands and buildings and finance.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Fote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed, okay? The service director, you didn't have a report this evening?
No report.
Okay. It's summer and it's the lazy days of summer.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you calling the service director lazy?
No, I've never
Anything
done
but
that.
lazy.
Lazy.
I heard that. Lazy.
Lazy, maybe, but. Mr. Turka?
Okay, for the service safety director, I had some calls. They would like to know on Highland and Reed Street when the next scheduled street sweeping might take place, because they said that they've actually had to stop the street sweeper on other streets and ask them to come to Highland and Reed because it's getting so bad.
Well, it is, we've had some calls today, we've had some ongoing calls. We've been short, we've had some injuries, we've had to prioritize. Our regular street sweeper just had to have surgery on his hand a couple of weeks ago. We have put a new person in, he's out sweeping, and we'll make sure that they get over there. I know some of it's been a while, and it's one of my pet peeves too. When I drive up and down the street,
Is there a schedule that will be?
No, there's no
follow it.
There's no schedule. We do the downtown at 6 a.m. on Friday mornings, and that's pretty good. There's a few cars that park there. We're going to address that. Make sure they move, because that's a place where people flick out their cigarette butts, and you can get pretty bad even over a weekend. But we'll make sure Highland and Reed get on the street, get on there, and should be no later than Friday.
I got another question. Being at the festival, there's so many people walking.
Mhm.
Is there going to be any, whatever, maybe we could sweep the underpass sidewalks and in front of the old
Can do that
Swan
too.
building where it's all broke. It's got a bunch of broken glass.
On the sidewalk?
On the sidewalk, yeah, from basically the old Swan, the old Wisp place, all the way
Sure, okay,
going east. Really, both sides of the street is pretty bad.
okay. Make sure we get some guys out there too.
Okay.
Yeah, and if anybody on council sees things like that, please let us know. You know, appreciate knowing those types. We don't get on every street, every week or every day, so. Thank you.
Anyone else, Mr.
Was there any pool bids received yet at this point, or?
I don't think that's going to bid yet. We haven't received any. I'm not sure what the, I shouldn't say, it hasn't gone out to bid. I'm not exactly sure what the last day of that is. You know, so I can't speak on that right now. I know it's gotta be pretty quickly.
We were
because-
advertising, and,
I thought we were advertising too, but you know, they wait until the last 34 seconds to
That's
bring it
true.
in.
Yeah, bids
So-
don't come in early. They don't come in early. I can let you know. I'll find out exactly when, because that's gotta, you know, we've only got another, really, after this one, we'll be week and then shut down.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on, Law Director, Mr. Rattle.
Thank you, Madam President. No written report or anything. I will say, after National Night Out tomorrow, makeup night for movies. Movie night in the park. We've had one that's been rained out a couple of times. And so I picked a day we're ready to forecast it, and we'll try to have a movie in the park. So after National Night Out, you're tired and sweaty and hot, and mad, happy everybody left. Come down and join the crowd and watch a movie. Sponsored by Wise Funeral Home. It's actually a very, very good movie. One of my favorites. So, yeah, come on down.
What movie is it?
Can't say.
I can't say.
What was it put on this one again?
I put a hint on Facebook. I put a picture.
What's the hint though on this one again?
Tom Hanks introducing us to the Oneaters.
There we go.
Nice musical.
Mhm.
Okay,
Nope.
yes.
I had a couple questions. How are we doing on the trailer park? I can see what's going on, but I mean, is it, being that the trailers are being torn apart on site?
Yeah.
Are they basically considered basically permanent structures like a house would be, that's why, I mean, I had a question posed to me that why weren't the trailers moved, and I had said, well, it's probably because basically there's no wheels underneath them, and they're basically a structure that can't be moved, so that's pretty much the reason they're being torn down on site.
Yeah, we.
But I don't know if I spoke out of turn this in.
No, and that's, we offered it to anybody for any way they want to get them demoed. They hadn't been moved in decades. So their ability to move them and getting them movable was pretty much, cost prohibitive. And the one person we had that was willing to scrap them on site, and so we agreed to that. We had an initial agreement for 60 days to get them all done. It's running close to that in a couple weeks, I think. And part of that is if progress is being made, we can go another 30. There are some inquiries about that lot, so that may be bringing something to you guys fairly shortly on that.
And as far as basically they're cleaning it up for the materials that they
Yeah.
get up, so.
Well, actually, they paid us $1 for the privilege to do so.
That's great.
Yeah. So we essentially sold all those trailers for about 10 cents a piece.
Buy a can of aerosol.
Any other questions for the Law Director? Okay, Auditor, Mrs. Schiffer.
Thank you, Madam President. When you look at my list, it looks like it's all about me tonight.
It does.
But it's actually about a lot of different things. I have a list of referrals for finance. Number 1, from unappropriated funds in the general fund, program 1, security of persons and property, police department, materials and supplies, the sum of $208 for safety town donations received, and 25 capital outlay in the amount of $1,000 for a K-9 unit donation received. We also need to create the category of 7204 ambulance district and the object 2023 contractual services within the general fund program 2 public health services so that we can do appropriations. And in relation to that, number 3, from unappropriated funds in the general fund program 2 public health services 7204 ambulance district 23 contractual services, the sum of $16,000 in anticipation of the changes taking place November 1st, 2018. Also from unappropriated funds in the general fund, program 7, general government, lands and buildings, materials and supplies, the sum of $906 for donations received for the Community Unity Project, which is the painting of the mural on the B&T building. These donations were made by several civic organizations, Kiwanis, Rotary, and Lions Club, and we appreciate those donations to allow us to beautify the building back here. From unappropriated funds in 720 sewage disposal, 7540 sewers and drains, 23 contractual services, the sum of $2,000 to replenish the line for the remainder of the year. This is for some expenses that occurred within sewers and drains. There's always something happening, and it appears that we're going to be short. Then in number 6, we need a reduction of appropriated funds in 750 solid waste management, personal services, the sum of $61,400 to bring appropriated funds in line with revenues received. And we also need a transfer within solid waste management, from personal services in the amount of $18,600 to 23 contractual services for $10,000. This is going to go in the landfill expense line, because it appears we may be short for the year. And materials and supplies for $8,600, and this is for gas and oil for the remainder of the year. And I believe that's all at this time.
Okay, any questions or comments for the auditor? Okay, then all these need to go into Finance Committee.
I make a motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Trucca, to put all 7 items for the K-9 unit donation, for public health services appropriation, for general fund $16,000 in anticipation of changes taking place in the ambulance district, from unappropriated funds for donations received for the Community Unity Project, from unappropriated funds in sewage disposal for $2,000 to replenish the line for the remainder of the year, a reduction in appropriated funds in solid waste of $61,400 to bring the appropriated funds in line with revenues received, and a transfer within solid waste of $18,600 for landfill expenses, gas and oil for the remainder of the year. I have a motion then from Mr. McKeever and a second by Mr. Trucca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you very much. We have nothing from the auditor, police chief, fire chief. What? The auditor's statement of cash position. Oh, you have that. I'm sorry, I missed that. So that's in your packet. That'll be for review for our next meeting, okay? I need a motion to accept the city officers' reports.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by the second by Mr. Trucca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. This is the time where we have visitors' input regarding reports of standing and special committees and of city officers. Does anyone want to address council this evening? No one? Okay. We have no legislation for this evening. The one piece of legislation that had been requested was pulled because we ran into an issue when it came to making the necessary changes. It will be back into committee this Thursday. Correct? Am I right on that one? Okay. Unfinished business. Mr. Schock, report on the OML conference.
Yep. Mr. Myers and I went to Canton to an OML regional conference series meeting. It was a good meeting. I just printed off the agenda to kind of remind myself of all the stuff they went through, but covered just a variety of topics: home rule, open records, public meetings. There was some discussion on medical marijuana, public nuisances, economic development, and social media. So it was a variety of topics covered, but good information, good learning experience. So
And that was held in,
that was at the Football Hall of Fame.
okay,
in Canton.
tough place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see a whole lot of the Hall of Fame, but we did see a little bit. So.
Okay, good, good. I'm attending the one coming up on the 17th. Okay, you have your updated open project lists are in your packets. Look through there, make any changes that need to be made. If things need to be removed, do that. Is there anyone else with any unfinished business they'd like to bring up this evening? Mr. McKeever?
Yes, you were the only one in attendance. The house on Woodlawn has been decided by the BZA with an agreement with the said owner, and he agreed to tear it down. And we set a deadline for the 20th, because school opens on the 22nd, and that means the basement has to be filled in. So we'll see if he follows through.
I understand that there's been a contractor engaged and that's moving forward, so.
We're doing that hastily because of the school being open
Yes.
and the basement's
It's
open.
right across the
on three
street,
sides.
yeah.
So,
Great place for a kid that age to go over there and find a way in.
well, it was dangerously close to falling in itself, so anyhow.
Okay. Anything else? Under new and miscellaneous business, tomorrow night, Tuesday, is National Night Out. We have a list of the parties that's in your packet. Afterwards, we can decide who's going where, with who, and when, tomorrow night. And it is such a fun evening to go out to all these places and visit with. It's a nice opportunity to, touch base in the different areas around town. Thursday through Saturday, August the 16th through the 18th, is the 51st annual Bucyrus Bratwurst Festival. Friday, August the 17th, City Hall offices are closed for the Bratwurst Festival. Wednesday, August 22nd, is the first day of school for Bucyrus City Schools. Tuesday, August the 28th, Together We Hear, Together We Heal is their annual banquet from 6 to 9 p.m. at Calvary United Church of Christ in Crestline. It's $25, and Joyce, you can probably speak more to that than anybody else here. You're very involved with that.
Maybe a little more.
Okay.
And I don't even have any paperwork in front of me. But we will have some great speakers. I encourage everyone to come. There'll be updates on Sycamore House and Willow House, which is our new recovery house for women, which we will be having a grand opening for that soon. It's just a great night to get together, find out what's happening, and to see the success stories. It's really awesome.
That it is, that it is. On Saturday, September the 1st, is the third and last night for laps in Bucyrus from 7:30 to 9:30. And on Monday, September the 3rd, Labor Day, the city offices will be closed that day. And trash pickup will be announced accordingly. It's always the day after, right? The day later? Okay.
Have your trash out by 7 a.m.
7 a.m. The parade, anybody that wants to be in the parade any night of the Bratwurst Festival, have a conversation with Todd or I about that participation. For some reason, they want to know ahead of time who's going to be in the parade, You're not, because you're working.
I'll be in it. I'll be the one parking you. I'll be the one riding behind you.
Okay.
I'm the one who gets to
That's a
set all
warm,
that up and get it all coordinated.
warm and fuzzy feeling, yes, okay, thank you. So, we have a lot of things to look forward here as summer is winding up, and, most of all, be safe, but do come and enjoy the Bratwurst Festival. There's a lot of things to be seen, and the stage is being moved back to Rensselaer Street
Yes, the
this year?
main stage will be back in its original spot on Rensselaer.
Okay. And so always a few little things change around up there. Any other new miscellaneous items?
Oh,
No?
one thing about the Bratwurst Festival this year, I know everybody will probably have remembered the new concrete barriers that we used last year to block streets and things of that nature. They will be very visible this year as they are now part of the Bratwurst Festival's property, and they will all be painted bright yellow.
Okay.
So
Okay, for everybody's safety out there. Okay.
they worked out very, very well last year.
Okay, we need to excuse our council members who are absent today, so we need to excuse Mr. Myers and Mr. Wireball.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Vogt and second by Mr. Truca to excuse Mr. Myers and Mr. Wireball. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Joint regular committees, meetings this Thursday, all referrals from this council meeting and any open project list items may be discussed during the committee meetings. The referrals from tonight are,
We've got 5 new referrals. We have the ORDC grant administration for the arch that goes public lands and finance from the administration. We have 4 from the auditor to finance. We have the various appropriations. We have the category and object creation. We have the reduction of funds, and we have the transfer of funds. Those will be 4 separate pieces. In committee already for Thursday, the change of the ordinance regarding annexation and water service, we're amending that. That's in service, and then in service and finance, the 2 amendments to the solid waste rates, we get those figures nailed down. That's for service and finance for Thursday.
okay. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Vogt to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We are adjourned at 7:46 PM.